welcome to Healthy Coaching. I'm Sherri, naturopathic doctor, certified nutrition specialist. I want to take a few moments, to tell you about one of my favorite topics, and that is food sensitivities. Something that I've seen over the years of practice. It's been an integral part of getting people to feel better. I can't stress enough how important it is for, I believe, everybody to look and see if food sensitivities are playing a role in your health complaints. And it may not be, it's not the cure-all for everyone. However, I think everybody needs to go through the process of trying to figure out if they have a food sensitivity and either ruling it out and saying, you know what, I'm not reacting to any foods, or pinpointing some of the specific foods you might be reacting to. And it really, I can't stress enough how important it is to embark on that at some point for optimal health or for any specific complaints. So food allergies and food sensitivities are very different. We are all familiar with food allergies. That's the kid that eats the peanut, throat starts to swell, we have to call 911. That's an immediate food reaction. That's a dangerous food reaction. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at a food sensitivity. That is where you can eat a food on a Monday morning and have a reaction to that food on a Tuesday night. So there's the delayed reaction. And the reaction is a low-level reaction. It's not an immediate 911 type of reaction. It's a low-level reaction like insomnia, joint pain, muscle pain, irritable bowel, headache, some of those more chronic type of symptoms. So that's where it can be really tough to pinpoint for people, because people can make a correlation. If I eat a food and I get a stomach ache, I eat a food and I get a headache, sort of right around the time frame of eating the food. But to eat something, on a Monday morning and have a reaction on a Tuesday night, that's very hard for people to make that correlation. Rightly so. But that's how it works. That's that delayed part of the food sensitivity. And the food, everybody's familiar with wheat and gluten these days. It's a very hot topic, and it's a very real topic. Sometimes when things get out into the media and they become somewhat of a fad, and in the health profession we typically tend to shy away from those extreme types of fad health tidbits or health concerns that are floating around. However, people in the nutrition or naturopathic profession, we've been seeing issues with gluten for years and years and years and years, and so we knew at some point it was going to get out into the mass media, and this is something I think most of us all agree with, that it should be out in the mass media, and it is causing lots of problems for people. Wheat is not the only one, though. I have what we call a sensitive 7, and that's wheat, dairy, corn, soy, egg, peanuts, sugar. So those are the big food sensitivities. Those are the ones that most people will have a problem with. However, having said that, really lots of different foods can cause food sensitivities. It doesn't just have to be those sensitive 7, but that's where we start. And a good place to start is to do a hypoallergenic elimination diet to see if basically taking those foods out, and then you reintroduce them in a systematic way to see how they are affecting you. And that's really the gold standard. Eat a food, how does it affect you? But there are also other ways. I like to run IgG food panels. It's a blood panel, so you can look and see what's actually happening in the bloodstream, how foods are crossing, and pick out, sometimes foods, I've seen people react to foods that you would never think would be a food sensitivity, foods that are quote-unquote healthy, almonds, chicken, just some things that shouldn't be showing up in somebody's IgG panel, but they are. And so you wouldn't think about eliminating them, so it's great to have the IgG panel. So those two coupled, the diet and some type of blood panel, and there are other ways as well to look at food sensitivities and measure food sensitivities. Those are just the two that I happen to really like to use. So what happens is when you have a food sensitivity, you eat the food. Food should always stay in the digestive tract. It should get broken down to the smallest pieces, be absorbed into the bloodstream, and then go towards repair, go towards your antioxidant pathways, go towards healthy brain neurotransmitters, do all the things that food is supposed to do to keep you healthy and vibrant. When somebody has a food sensitivity, they eat a food, and instead of it getting broken down really small, it doesn't get broken down all the way, and it crosses into the out of the digestive tract and into the bloodstream. And that's where you start to form immune complexes. And the reason so many different types of symptoms can be involved with a food sensitivity is because those complexes will end up in a different spot for every person. So for one person, it will manifest as joint pain. For some people, it will go to the thyroid, manifest as thyroid issues. It's just across the board. It's very individualized how somebody is going to deal with their food sensitivity and what kind of symptoms going to arise from that. So, but that's the basic mechanism is the food is just not getting broken down in the way that it should, and so all kinds of cascade of reactions start to happen from that. So I encourage you or urge you to, at some point, figure out if food sensitivities are an issue for you, and either rule it out or go with it and try to pinpoint some of those specific foods that might be causing you a problem. It really is a big issue these days with the commercialization of our food industry, how we've changed the processing of the food, how we've changed how we grow our food. We are initiating these food sensitivities in our population. So, eating a whole foods diet, not eating out of a box. Gluten, for instance, we monocrop gluten. We don't rotate our wheat anymore. We don't rotate our wheat. We monocrop the wheat, and then now we're putting it in everything. So people will tell me, I'm watching my weight. I don't eat a lot of wheat. I don't eat pasta and bread. Those are the obvious sources of wheat, but pasta, bread, lunch meat, sauces, canned foods. Wheat is in everything. Everything. Soy is in everything. Sugars in everything. So, we are from the process of how our food industry has changed, and our lifestyle of needing quick foods, not really taking the time to choose our foods and to cook, and we are initiating these food sensitivities and this poor health in our American population. We've got to stop it. We've got to figure out, what our food sensitivities are. We've got to stop eating out of a box. We've got to start demanding that some of the practices, the farming practices, and the commercialization of the food industry changes, so that we can get our health back. So I'm going to wrap up because I could go on forever and talk about food sensitivities. It's a big passion of mine. But I just encourage you to go down that road at some point. Go down that road with your kids. Everybody needs to do an allergy elimination diet at some point. Almost everybody needs some kind of food panel just to rule it out or to find out, pinpoint your food sensitivities and get back on the road to health. So thanks for joining me.